Hello everyone and welcome back to science class. Today, I want to talk to you about changes in matter. To review, matter is anything that takes up space and has a mass. So for instance, this candle here has a mass and it takes up space. I have a mass and I take up space. And the air around me has a mass and takes up space. Anything that we interact with is matter. Now, there are three kinds of changes in matter. There are physical changes, there are chemical changes, and there are nuclear changes. So what is a physical change? Well, a physical change occurs when you have a substance and something changes, either its phase, its shape, or its size. So the nature of the substance stays the same. You don't actually change the nature of it. It's the same substance, whether you've crumpled up a piece of paper like this. I have this normal sized piece of paper here. And voila, I have now changed its size and shape. Have I changed the fact that this is paper? No. So this is considered to be a physical change. Another example would be melting an aluminum can. When you melt an aluminum can, you have solid aluminum melting into liquid aluminum. It's still aluminum, it's just now changed its phase. Instead of solid, it's now liquid. Now let's talk about chemical changes. So what is a chemical change? A chemical change has occurred if the nature of the substance has been altered. So in a chemical change, the bonds between the atoms and molecules change. New molecules are formed. Now the process which shows us a chemical change is called a chemical reaction. You have your reactants at the beginning. They will combine and make new substances that are the products. Now there are a couple of ways that we can determine if a chemical change has occurred. Number one, there was a change in color. Number two, a gas was formed. Number three, energy was released or absorbed. Number four, light was emitted. And number five, a precipitate was formed. So a precipitate meaning that when you mix two solutions together, you get a solid that comes out of that. So let's take a look at this candle here. So I have this candle here, and I'm going to take a match and light it. If you saw the color of the match beforehand, you would see that the tip of it was red, and now it has turned black. So that is an indicator that a chemical change has occurred with the match. Now, if we take a look at the candle itself, we can see that light is being emitted. And we can also feel that there's heat being emitted. So the burning of the wick, the part that we light on the candle, that is undergoing a chemical change right now. Now, if I were to blow it out, and if I were to look inside, I would see that the wax has melted. Now, wax melting is a physical change. The wax didn't change. The wick changed substance, because we can also see that the wick is black. It was white once. It is now black. So when you burn a candle, there are actually two types of changes that are happening. You have the physical melting of the wax, and then you have the chemical change of the burning of the wick. Now, the last change I want to talk about is called the nuclear change. A nuclear change happens when the very fabric of the atom changes. So there are two ways to do this. You can undergo nuclear change when you combine atoms through nuclear fusion, or when you split apart atoms through nuclear fission. So in the case of a nuclear change, new atoms are being formed. Entirely new elements are being formed. When you take two smaller atoms together and you fuse them together, they become a bigger atom. If you take a bigger atom and you split them apart through fission, they become two smaller atoms. So, to summarize, physical changes affects the shape, size, and phase of an object or substance. Chemical changes affects the nature of the chemical bonds and the molecules in that substance. Nuclear transformation makes entirely new atoms from older atoms. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye!